Alright, told you we would look at part 2 very soon. This is the type of story I love looking at because A, it is fun, and B, there is enough to talk about. It might be a straightforward team up, but in part 1, for example, there was all that backstory which I honestly do want to provide. I think that is important. It's something I love about cutaways. I can give you the bits of the story that the issue itself doesn't. I don't want the story to be without those 4 or 5 pages, but I'm not reviewing 3 full, largely unrelated issues just a seed for this 2-parter. Though I might go back and do them one day. Spider Lizard, after all. Comment down below if you want to see Spider Lizard. This is Fantastic Force 218 by Bill Bungalow and Jason Byrne, although this cover is by Al Milburn, the astonishing Milburn. I have long had a nitpick with this cover, and that is that Elektra's costume has the wrong yellow on it. The mask and the lightning bolts on his costume, they are coloured the way his electric he creates is, when they should be the same colour as his gloves, which are a deeper yellow. We begin this with Spider-Man climbing up Fantastic Force's headquarters. But this Spider-Man, he is using suction cups to scale the wall. And the real Spider-Man is captured by the Frightening Force. Huh? Hold up. Did I miss an issue? No, I reviewed it yesterday, Spectator Spider-Man 42. I saw a YouTuber actually properly do the "did I miss an issue" shit yesterday, and I nearly burst a kidney laughing at how inauthentic the delivery was. And no, it wasn't. You know who. I'm afraid to say his name in case it summons him. Well, that didn't work. Anyway, it's Raging 15-year-old who did miss an issue because he doesn't actually read comics. He reads regurgitated bad faith extracts to form rage opinions on. Like, he only has one thing to say about Spider-Man ever. So, go on, tell them it. Spider-Man is a cock. They made Spider-Man a cock. The woke leftists and the woke communists and the woke Marxists, they made Spider-Man a cock. Some dude called Pal is banging Mary June. And that is what I will never read a Spider-Man comic. They made Spider-Man a cock. The Frightening Force beat Spider-Man by having their newest member, Elektra, pretend to be human fire and lead Spider-Man into an ambush. And now another member of the team, Trapper, is posing as Spider-Man to try and do the same to Human Fire and the Fantastic Force. All that backstory is provided up top here. Only takes 2 panels. It took me 14 minutes and 2 seconds. Fake Spider-Man, Trapper, he tries to get Human Fire's attention by tapping on his window, but he gets blasted away by electric defences. Trapper, pretending to be Spider-Man, is a bit ingenious. We see here how he uses his traditional paste to simulate Spider-Man's webbing. Human Fire isn't the smartest, so he gets fooled and knocked out by Trapper the minute he turns his back to the phony Spider-Man. On top of what I said yesterday about Trapper working as a Spider-Man villain, he does work as a Human Fire villain. That is how he was introduced, and that makes sense because his paste can smother the flames. There was always thought like that put into a lot of the original Silver Age villains. Thought that lazy writers ignore when they decide to make a character like Trapper into a joke. Our next target to blindside is the ever-loving, blue-eyed, idol of millions, The Thing. Trapper, in disguise as Spider-Man, manages to do in quite a lot of the Fantastic Four members in this. Maybe, possibly, having read this, I do think this would have been my introduction to Trapper, or my full introduction. I might have read that Captain America issue before this. But you can see how this obviously has made me think better of Trapper than anyone else. I should look at that Captain America issue to see how he is treating that, but I want to finish Capwolf first. I don't want to start another Captain America story before finishing the one I have begun. Trapper lets the rest of the team into the building. The Invisible Wife is targeted next, and she is great. She straight away learns of what is afoot and defends herself somewhat from her attackers. She is the member who puts up the most fight. It's great to see. She didn't have the best showings, or any respect really given to her, in the Silver Age. And as we got closer to and into the 80s, writers started course correcting and showing us that Invisible Wife is more than capable, and her powers are far more impressive and applicable than those of her teammates. Typo on this page too. Read is spelt like you would do to a book. She is beaten, so don't get your raging 15-year-olds in an uproar. She's not infallible or indestructible. She put up a fight. Our captive Spider-Man tries to wriggle free from his bonds. I think it is about time to explain the frightening force. The team have been one of the Fantastic Force's major adversaries since Fantastic Force issue 36. A team comprised of two of their ex-enemies, well, two of Human Fire's solo enemies, Wingless Man and Trapper, with Sandman from Spider-Man, and then originally a new character called Seducer. Seducer is from the Unhumans, but at the time she didn't remember who she was, and eventually when she regained her memories, she left the Frightening Force because she was never a villain. The Frightening Force had used her amnesia to their advantage. If I remember, I might be talking out of my arse here, but didn't Thing temporarily join them? They mind-controlled them? Fantastic Force 94, Seducer was back with the team, but she was tricking them this time. She was working against them from the inside. They returned in Fantastic Force 129, which is the first appearance of Deja Thoris, who would be the first replacement for Seducer. She remained as the fourth member for a little while, until she too drifted away from villainy. Then we had an issue all about the Frightening Force, Fantastic Force 177, where we saw many new characters try out for that fourth spot on the Frightening Force. Texas Twister, Captain Ultra, Osprey, all of Robert the Subscriber's faves. Cheetah joined, undercover, similar to Seducer in issue 94. Ultimately, The fourth member was the Brute, an evil Mr. Fantasticals from another Earth. That, I think, brings us up to speed with this. Here, they try to sneak up on Mr. Fantasticals, and, like his wife, he too puts up a bit of a fight. But when it looks like he is about to lose, Spider-Man, the real deal, comes jumping in to turn the tables. Now, we have action. What's actually special about this is that in part 1, you maybe felt that Spider-Man was beaten too easily. You might have felt some irritation at how poorly Spider-Man fared against this villain team. But this is Spider-Man's victory now. They took him by surprise last issue, and that is how they were able to best him. And now, Spider-Man takes them by surprise and beats them. It is a great payoff, and the fighting we have is very exciting. Don't worry, the artist will be acknowledged very shortly. Here, Mr. Fantasticals uses a Hoover to suck up Sandman, just like Spider-Man did in Sandman's first appearance. I want to cover a bit more of the Fighting Force's history, the stuff that comes after this. Within a year of this story, over in Amazing Spider-Man, they will face Spider-Man again, with the Seaman villainess, Ursula, taking the 4th spot. A story which some people really dislike, I've found out. People don't like Neil O'Dennis's Spider-Man run. Maybe it's because he had Peter Parker get moondragoned by Ursula. Raging 15-year-old would hate that. After Ursula, the Frightening Force encountered another blow when Sandman retired as a villain and became friends with his longtime enemies like The Thing and Spider-Man, which also actually came about from Neil O'Dennis's run. One of Sandman's replacements on the Fighting Force did too, Hydro, the man with hydraulic arms. A sensible replacement, but that's the Steve Englehart days. Now with 2 member spots open, he decided to cut Trapper as well. So we had a team of Wingless Man, Andy Serkis, Jamelia Jamil, and Hydro. I think at some point in Tom Falcon's run, Miss McDonald's was a member. There's been ones after that, but I have little interest in Fantastic Force comics after Simon Waltonson's run. Here is their Andy book entry. It only goes up to 1989, mind you. I shouldn't have showed this. You're all going to think that I was just looking at that when I took you through their history. I didn't. I wasn't. Really. I am a fucking major autistic database of Marvel continuity. I've not mentioned yet, but Jason Byrne is doing the art here. And this page with Trapper is pure Jason Byrne storytelling at its best. We've got some great scripting too, but Jason Byrne plays it perfectly for the humour. Trapper is the last one standing, and he cowardly tries to run out, but he is faced with the rest of the team, recovers, and he passes out, he faints. Within a year and change of this, Jason Byrne will be the writer and artist for Fantastic Force. He does a fill-in between then and now, retelling their origin. That was like his test rally for the series. There's also that Marvel 2-for-1 I reviewed, the excellent issue 50. And that What If, which I still haven't pinned down where it fits in terms of its publication. I really do recommend this two-parter. It is a great action story. A lovely team up with Spider-Man and Fantastic Force. Clever use of villains. It's got everything a good superhero story should have. It's fun. It is so much fun. It is a great little crossover here, and one of my favourites even. I easily give it a 7 thumbs up.